Good morning, students. In the previous video session, we have discussed the second unit last topic and its book back questions. And today, you can start the next unit, unit 3, laws of motion. You know that we all know that our universe always it will interact with every other object. For example, if we are saying that we know that the cool breezes, it is happening naturally. The cool breezes, we know that it is interacting with the trees. Also, we know that the tree interact with the earth. So, like this, all the species on this earth are interacting with each other. Animals interact others with each other, like human interact with others. When this human interact with other object in the earth, we have so many questions arising on our mind. We know that we have an extra quality, that is what while happening something, we will think about that why this is happened and how this is happened, and we always try to understand and we always try to explain the phenomena, the natural phenomena scientifically. That is what in physics also we are doing. We know that every object in the universe interact with each other. Animals, plants, trees, the breeze interact with the tree. So like these interactions happening, but only the human, we have an extra quality. We are thinking about why this is happening and why this interaction happening, and we are trying to understand and we are trying to explain this concept scientifically. So this thing like this happening. And another thing is, we all are very much curious about the scientific things which is happening, the natural things which is happening around us, the motion of the object, and we always think about how the things move. We know that one pencil is there. You see, I kept a pen here, and it is rolling down, and we will think why this pen is moving, how the things move. And why it is happened, why these things move. Like these many questions are arising our mind, so that we know that like this previously also some of the scientists, like about 2500 years ago, a famous philosopher, his name is Aristotle, and he said that he just said that from his common sense. You know that many scientists, many physicists said many things from their common sense, and that common sense, what they told, it is scientifically proved by another physicist or the scientist. Like that, we know that Aristotle, before 2500 years ago, he said that from his common sense, motion causes force. So here I am keeping an object. Now you see there is a motion happening in this pen. Aristotle said that motion of this object causes, it is due to force. That is what from his common sense he is told. Later this question, this his what he said, some against this some question arised by Galileo in the 15th century, Galileo, and he said that like what Aristotle said, all the motion which is happening due to the force, that is not happening like that, Galileo said. Also Galileo tries to prove that through his experiment. He done an experiment and he was trying to explain that what Aristotle said was wrong. Forces not only, motion is not caused by force. And this Galileo make an experiment also. He is making an inclined plane like this. One inclined plane. You can see this clearly in your textbook. So here, this is what Aristotle experiment. Here you can see that 4 diagram. This is a initial position and this is a final position. And from this 4 diagram, the first diagram shows that one ball is dropped from this inclined plane. This is a Galileo's experiment. So what he found means that balls moves over another inclined plane, but it doesn't reach the same position where the ball is dropped. And this is what he was trying to prove. No, so he dropped the ball from one inclined plane, but this ball moved to another inclined plane, but it is not both are at the same inclination, both inclined plane angle is same, but you can see this ball is reached up to here. Now second, again he is doing the same inclined plane with the same inclination, but he made the surface little smooth. So he used a smooth surface. Now what he have seen means he dropped the ball from this height and it moves on another inclined plane on the same height. So this is the initial position and the ball reached this final position with the same height. Then he did that time he did he made this inclined angle more. Now what he did means the ball reached more distance, which when we are comparing with these two. So that is what the third thing he observed. The motion of the ball is ball reached at a more distance. Now you see the last thing, he made the angle of inclination 0. Here he made the angle of inclination 0. So what happened means the ball moves forward in the horizontal direction, like this straight it is going. And after this experiment, what he told? If Aristotle said true means, here he is not applying any force on this ball. He is just keeping the ball, it was rolled. This is also, you see, here you can see that I kept a pen on this inclined plane. You can see that the pen rolled down, isn't it? I am not applying any force, but there is a motion. This is what Galileo proved. So if the Aristotle told was true means, then what would have happened? The ball would not have moved on this second plane. Even if he made this second plane smooth, the ball would not move on this plane. So he proved that what Aristotle said was wrong. And Galileo proved that there is no force required to maintain motion. So without force also object can move. Like that Galileo proved through his small experiment. Then what happened means Aristotle is combining the force with the motion, but this Galileo was decoupling, or you can tell coupling, decoupling, combining or decombining this motion and the force. So this is what about the introduction. Later another scientist, we know that Sir Isaac Newton, he is a great physicist, and he came, and Copernicus came, Kepler came. They all taken these Galileo's ideas and they are analyzing the views of this Galileo. What Galileo said, now these Newtons, Kepler, Copernicus, like many physicists, they were trying to prove, they are trying to study about what Galileo told. Like that, later Newton, Sir Isaac Newton made a law. What law he made? He made 3 very important laws. We know that all these 3 laws. First law is what? Every object continues to be in the state of rest or uniform motion unless there is an external force act on it. So you know that You know that here you can see this pen cap, you can see this book, everything in its state of rest. Now you can see this pen also. So all the object which is staying at rest, they will try to stay at rest only. That is what Newton told his first law. All the object which is staying at rest, they will continue to stay at rest. You know that while playing the football or while playing the cricket, we know that ball is there, stump is there, and if there is no force act on the ball will not move like that. That is what Newton's first law. If it is staying at rest, it will continue to stay at rest until there is an external force. If you are applying an external force on that, it will move. That is what Newton told. And he said this one more thing about this. We know the concept of inertia. So Newton's first law, very important 2-mark law. What is this law? Every object continues to be in the state of rest or uniform motion unless there is an external force act on it. So suppose if there is an object which is kept at rest, they will continue to stay at rest. Assume that there is a ball moving, it will move on straight line. No. If it is rest means it will stay at rest. If it is moving means it will move. Any moving object like that, Galileo said through his last experiment, one ball he is dropped. We know that last experiment he made this England plane 0 and he dropped the ball. You can see this ball goes to infinity, but it moves. No, if there is no external force acting on it, it will continue its motion. If there is a force and acting on it, what will happen? It's maybe its direction will change, maybe its position will change, maybe its motion will change. That is what Newton's told. The second thing is inertia. What is meant by inertia? We know that what is meant by inertia. In smaller grade you have learned this. So inertia means the inability of the object to move on its own or change its state of motion is called inertia. So assume that this object is now at rest. So there is an inability. This pen don't have the ability to move by itself. That is what inability of this object. This pen don't have the ability to move from here. So that is the inability of this object to move by its own. Or assume that it is moving. You see, now the pen is moving. You can see that the pen is moving in the same direction it is moving. It is not changing its motion direction by its own. That inability, what we are saying, it is inertia. So to prove this inertia, some concept explained. In that, the first one is inertia of rest. Inertia of rest. So depending on the circumstances, there can be 3 types of inertia. Depending upon the situation, inertia is divided into 3 types. First one is inertia of rest. What is this inertia of rest? I will tell you on best example. We know that we all have the experience of traveling by bus. Assume that we are sitting in the bus. Suddenly the driver started the bus and he started to move suddenly. Suddenly he started to move the bus. What we will feel? How we will feel while we sit inside the bus? We know that suddenly when he started the bus, we are sitting in the rest. We are simply sitting, but when he start the vehicle, the bus, suddenly we know that we will go just forward. So maybe sometimes we know that we will we will feel that there is a backward push. There is a backward push. You are sitting from your position, you can see that you are going backward. So why this is happening? Because you are continuing to staying at rest. Your inability to change from your state of rest to motion, but the bus started its motion. That is what inertia of rest. So the inability of an object to change its state of rest is called inertia of rest. Driver started the bus, so the bus started to move, but still you are sitting at rest. You are not changing. You don't have the ability to change your motion. You are staying at rest. That is what inertia of rest. The inability of an object to change its state of rest is called inertia of rest. The second thing is inertia of motion. Inertia of motion. The second thing is inertia of motion. For this, I'll tell you one best example. Maybe this experience you all have when you are traveling by bus. You all are standing. Assume that you are standing in a bus. While you are standing on the bus, suddenly he applied a sudden brake. What will happen? Sometimes we may fall forward. We may fall forward. Why this is happening? Why this is happening? You see, the bus is moving. No, the bus is moving means we are in motion. We are in the state of motion. Suddenly the bus driver applied the brake, so he applied sudden brake, so the bus stopped suddenly, but the inability of us to change our motion state to rest state. Suddenly we are not changing our state of motion to rest. That is what we are saying inertia of motion. So the inability of an object to change its state of uniform speed on its own. We are not changing our state of uniform motion to what? Rest. We are not changing by its own. That is what inertia of motion. And the last one is, the third one is inertia of direction. For this many example you can tell. Inertia of direction. For this inertia of direction, one best example is given for you. We know that we all have, when we are in the childhood, we all do this thing, no? Just taking a string and tying the stone on that string, and we will take and we will rotate like this. So we are assume that you are standing here and you are rotating, you are moving this rope. On end of the rope there is a stone is tied. Assume that suddenly this rope broken. When this rope string broken or it cuts suddenly, what will happen? The stone will not continue to move in the circular motion. Now it is moving in the circular motion because of this rope. Suddenly, when this rope cuts, we know that the rope, this stone will move in straight direction somewhere. It will not continue to move in circular motion. So this is also what we can tell, that the inability of the object to change its direction of motion on its own is called inertia of direction. Another example, you can say that some have the experience of playing football. While playing the football, we know that passing game. One player will pass the ball to another player, and that player will pass the ball to another player. So while playing the football also, you see, one player hit the ball means that will go in the straight line in which direction he is hitting. It is going straight until another player touches the ball. Once the player touches the ball, there is a change in direction. So that is what the inability of that object to change its direction of motion on its own is called It is not changing its direction by its own. That inability only we are saying inertia of direction. And this is what about Newton's law and inertia. And students, again, just to go through that today's topic, Newton's first law, we know that every object continues to be in the state of rest of uniform motion unless there is a external force acting on it. Then inertia means, you know that what is inertia? The inability of the object to move on its own or change its state of motion is called inertia. And what is inertia of rest? The inability of an object to change its state of rest is called inertia of rest. Inertia of motion means the inability of the object to change its state of uniform speed is called by its own is called inertia of motion. Inertia of direction means the inability of an object to change its direction of motion on its own is called inertia of direction. So all of you go through these examples and this definition you can learn through this video session. See you all. Thank you all. Bye bye.